I will. Okay, cool. So start letting people in?
Yeah, let people in. Let people in. Everybody's got their videos off. Let's have a look at everybody. Pop your videos on. Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
We'll just wait another minute. Whoops. Thirty more seconds, we'll wait. We'll get started. Okay, well, I think we'll just we'll get started now, and people can still come in, and that'll be great. It's so nice to see those of you who've got your videos on, and so nice to see you all. Welcome to our I'm transforming my home first Zoom catch up. I'm Natalie Isaacs. I'm the founder of 1 Million Women, and it always makes my heart feel so warm when I'm doing these Zoom events and I see everybody, because 1 Million Women just wouldn't be a community without you. And so it really means the world to me to have you all involved in what we do. And boy, it's going to be a really big couple of years for us. We've been really working hard on what we're going to do over these next 2 years to make the biggest impact possible. So I can't wait to share all that with you tonight. And let's just get things started with the beautiful and wonderful Jemima Pascoe to do our acknowledgement to country.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. As a proud Wailwan woman, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I am joining tonight's event, the Awabakal and Worimi peoples, and also to all the traditional owners of the lands from which you are joining us. I would also like to extend my love and respect to all First Nations people joining us for this special Zoom event, and to our First Nations elders and to those who are leading the way for our youth and future generations.
Thanks, Jem. Thank you. So everybody, this is what we normally do every Zoom event. I would like, if you can, pop your videos on and let's all say hello to each other. Let's just wave, scroll across, say hi, and then in the chat, if you want to just say who you are and where you're from and how you're feeling. Just one word about how you're feeling. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. Scroll across. It's so nice. Everyone waving hello. And there's in the chat, show the chat. And just, you can just, yes, say where you're from. Just trying to get the chat open. There it is.
Wow. Lots of countries.
Ah, beautiful. Hello, everyone. And just anything, just one word about how you're feeling. Just throw it in the chat. Optimistic, that's great. Hopeful, that's good. My word tonight's I'm determined. Determined, and when you're determined, hey, Susie Crick, down my way. Ready? Yes, good one. I'm ready too. Interested. I'm excited too. That's wonderful. Keep them coming. So, so for now, you can either stay on gallery view. Everybody knows how to use Zoom now, so I don't need to worry. But if you want to just put it onto speaker view, and if you put it onto speaker view now, then you'll be able to just see who is speaking big on the screen. So hopefully you're looking at me at the moment. So look, I'm going to go back to gallery view because I want to see all of you. So I don't need to say very much to you all about 1 million women because you are all part of it and you know what we're all about. You are the heart and soul of 1 million women. But you know, we have come a long way over the last decade. And when I started 1 million women, you know, well, a little over a decade ago, we were just telling people about what climate change was all about and why how we live is so important to this climate fight. And 10 years on, we are now in the decade that counts more than ever for climate action. This really is the defining moment. You know, 2030 is the line in the sand, and we need to be doing everything we can globally. And we need to be reducing our emissions by half. And that means every single little bit of CO2 that we can prevent from entering the atmosphere really matters in this decade. It matters more than anything else. And so it needs every one of us, you know, to do whatever we can, wherever we are. And that's what I'm Ready is all about, our new campaign, because, you know, over the last couple of years, we've been digging really deep about what is, you know, we're now at this point in time, and what is the biggest impact that we can make as a movement of women? What can we focus on over the next 2 years to really make a difference? And we've been making a difference for the last 10, but what should we focus on to really make an impact in 2 years? And that's what we came up with I'm Ready. And, you know, I'm Ready is really our rally call to women. It's our commitment of work, and it focuses on 3 key things. And you've probably seen us starting to roll out I'm Ready over the last few weeks. And we've got our big weekend of get-togethers at the end of this month, which I'll talk to you about at the end of this call. But the 3 big things that we're focusing on is and I'll talk about transforming our homes last, but it's I'm ready to rally my politician, my local politician, and have, you know, constant conversations with them. Whoever is your elected politician, whoever you voted for, it is who is in power now. And how do we have those constant conversations? And how do we accelerate bipartisan support? The second one is, how do we use our economic power of women? You know, how do we make our money count? Where we spend and invest our money, every single dollar that we spend and we invest can be for the good of the planet. And then the third thing, which is what we are focusing on tonight, is how do we transform our homes to be, climate action superpowers? How do we really come up with a plan to get off coal, oil, and gas? And over this coming year, we are going to dig deep on that. We are going to explore how we do it. How do we get off gas? How do we make our homes as energy efficient as possible and as comfortable? How do we focus on making our homes healthy? How do we completely remove ourselves from fossil fuels? And that's the program that you have all signed up to be part of over this coming year. We are all going on this journey together. And I'm going to, in a little moment, throw it over to Beth. Beth, do you want to wave from Beyond Zero Emissions, who will be talking about why she's gotten involved and why she's going to be the leader of the pack to really help us go on this journey together. And what we want to do from I'm Transforming My Home is to come up with a blueprint, a guide, a pathway, a realistic and relatable plan to help us all get off gas, to help us all move beyond fossil fuels. And we're going to share our experiences with each other and with our wider 1 million community so that we can bring women along the journey with us. And so thank you so very much for being part of this. We had an overwhelming response to our call out. I was expecting, I know you won't believe this, but I was expecting 10 women. I wanted to take 10 women along this journey with us. I wanted to showcase the stories of 10 women with our wider community. And so when we sent the call out, we did think we'd get a few more than 10, but that was our goal. And we got nearly 500 of you all wanting to come on. Yep, thumbs up, Susie, wanting to come on the journey with us. Nearly 500, which was just such an extraordinary result. And we have women from all walks of life jumping on board to be part of this, from all different lifestyle circumstances. And I have a few stats that I'd like to share with you and a couple of stories as well. So the largest group of respondents were those with only 2 people living in a home. That was 38%. And then the second highest group, which was 4 people living in a home. We had a wide variety of women and men from all walks of life responding. We had lots of families, single parents, couples without kids, empty nesters, family living with extended family members. We had people in housing and low-income earners. We had an entire, spectrum of women so that we could tell a real story, not just one aspect of it. And the other thing that we noticed is that there was a large majority who registered were already doing some great things around your homes to reduce the impact of your households on the planet. So we're excited to learn more, and we're so excited that we're all going on this journey. I'm going on this journey. I live in the Wollongong region, and I just bought a new house. And do you know it has 6 forms of energy? 6. And I don't know if you've ever really counted how many different forms of energy that you have in your house. And I'd never done that before. I'd always been energy efficient, like I got that nailed. We had solar panels on our roof in our other house, but I never really thought about how many forms of energy that I have in the house. And so I'm going on this electrification journey. How do I get my household off gas? How do we fill our roof with solar panels and be more energy efficient. And I'm excited about doing that. I thought it'd be lovely to share, you know, when you registered, you all gave a little story about where your story on your household. And I'd like to share a couple with you all now. And also just after Beth, have a think, because I would love a few of you to share your story too. And so if you're happy to share your story, and by the way, any questions, throw them in the chat. The wonderful Bree Wave, the wonderful Bree will pick up any questions. You can throw them in the chat now, right through, and at the end of the event, we'll get to questions, as many as we can. So, but have a think. I'd love to share a couple of your stories as to why you've joined this program and what your house is like at the moment. So here's a couple. I live rurally with on my partner's land, half an acre, surrounded by native New Zealand bush. There is one 2-bedroom house on site, a large shed, and one bell tent. And I may be talking somebody's story who's on the call tonight. We are planning to build a few sleep outs. We're currently creating a sustainable village here with one other person already living here, a young woman. Our main purpose is to empower people by living on this land in the context of radical responsibility and to bring that out into the world as multipliers. We have a gas stove for cooking. We use electricity for our hot water and lighting, and we use firewood for heating. And then another one, a parent living with her partner and 2 children who co-owns their 1970s home. We have solar panels, a battery, and an EV. They are wholesale electricity selling and buying, and they're trying to change their habit to minimize grid use when there is less renewables in the system. Things like cooking in the day, wearing warmer clothes, lowering the thermostat, shorter showers. They're also looking at ways to retrofit their 1970s home to make it more energy efficient. And then I'll read just one more. I'm renting a unit, hoping to buy in the next few years, share house, but we're wanting to buy together. Platonic, not romantic commitment. We have a gas stove and hot water. The unit was built in 2003 and has poor insulation. The landlord put up a shade cloth at the back off the living room, and that's helped a lot with the heat in summer. We've installed block-out blinds with the owner's permission in 2020, and that's also helped with the heat. Unfortunately, it's east-west orientation with the bedrooms facing east and the living rooms facing west. At the moment, I'm really cutting down on plastics and composting what I can. So thank you so much for everybody's stories. We loved reading them, and let's share a couple more tonight. So I did just want to finish off by saying that, you know, when I started 1 Million Women, I always knew it was going to be about women. Women make 70 to 85% of the consumer decisions that affect the household's carbon footprint. Women are powerful consumers, and we can use that power in the marketplace. And, you know, in this decade that counts more than ever, it needs us to gather our networks and to connect with other women in our local communities and with women around, you know, connect with our friends and different circles. And that's what I'm Ready is all about. And that's what this piece of I'm Transforming My Home hopefully is about, that you are connecting with other women in your community. We want to tell our stories. We want to share what we're doing, because when you share your story about what you're doing, about how you're transforming your home, or what you're learning about your home over this coming year, and you know there's no obligation for you to spend any money or for you to do anything, except we want to just create a pathway, a guide, a plan that you have for your home, that we all have. And if we share our stories and what we're doing with others, we will resonate. And when we resonate with one other person, just one other person, we are, you know, influencing them. And that there's nothing more powerful than that. And I think that when the other piece to I'm Ready, which is about engaging our politicians, we can change the hearts and minds of politicians if enough of us are having climate conversations with them. And when we're doing things in our own homes, and when we're learning the things that are the roadblocks and the challenges and the things are the solutions, and we can share that with our local politicians about what we're doing and what we expect from them, it's a different conversation that happens because you're invested and it's personal. So that's what it's all about. And I'm going to throw it over to Beth now. Beth is from BZE. I'll let Beth talk about BZE, Beyond Zero Emissions. Probably most of you or a lot of you have heard about them. And they're really helping us to shape, you know, the content for this journey that we're going on. But Beth in particular has already done this with 2 homes. She's already electrified 2 homes. And so she is going to really guide us as we go through this over the coming year. We're going to have monthly Zooms. Every month we'll have a different theme. We've got a lot of electrification partners that are going to help us with the different aspects of completely getting off fossil fuels. We're going to have regular newsletters to keep us all connected. So thank you. That's it from me. I'm throwing over to Beth now, and she can fill you in on her story and the journey she's going to take us on over the next year. Over to you, Beth.
Thank you, Natalie. My name is Beth Mitchell, and I'm coming to you from Ngunnawal country, which is in Canberra, hot in summer and cold in winter. My origin story is quite different from most people, I guess. I work currently with BZE, so I'll introduce where I come from first. And BZE is an international think tank. So we create, we work with industry, we work with stakeholders affected by climate change, and we develop policy solutions that can help us accelerate our transition to a zero emission future. So my role in that is as Government Affairs Specialist, which has the acronym GAS, so we're working on that one. But that role is really to take our research and policy solutions to the federal MPs and to the government departments and help them understand what needs to be done. So my origin story, and using that tells you that I have teenagers, but my origin story started with a very early introduction to sustainability. I grew up in the Riverina in a very little town called Tumbalong, about 70 k's from Wagga Wagga. And my parents there owned a herb nursery. My father retired at 39 and decided he was going to live the sustainable lifestyle. So that was a really hard introduction to sustainability as a child, because you just want to do all the really fun stuff. But I grew up preserving food. We killed our own chicken and canned hides and did all of the stuff that you do when you're living on a rural property. I went away to university, studied economics and Japanese because I thought I was going to be a stockbroker and earn lots of money. But during my journey, I actually realised that the further I got away from the country and from the innate care that I had for country, the less happier I got. So while at uni, I changed to a science degree after reading Edward Wilson's book on biodiversity, which was quite foundational for me. But my journey with sustainability has gone from remote communities, including Indigenous remote communities in the Northern Territory, Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria, helping them get landscapes survivable in the environment, looking at their housing, their infrastructure and community development needs, right through to corporate sustainability. In this journey, I lived in many, many different places. As a student, I lived in a lot of government housing that was really poorly insulated. and had to try and figure out ways to save money in that context. That did involve a lot of polystyrene back then against glass, and some knitted snakes against doors, etc., to try and keep my energy costs down because I really couldn't afford to pay. I then transitioned as I got older into sort of the rental properties that I had with small children, and then into my own house, my first house, where I had small children, was working part-time and really didn't have a huge amount of money. And so I had been working in sustainability for a really long time. By this time, I was working in the tertiary sector, helping them decarbonise tertiary campuses. And so I had to use everything I had and think outside the box. And that had, you know, there were solutions where we saved a lot of money to try and put double glazing in, but there were other really simple things that we were able to do. And I think for us at that point, it was as much about sustainability as it was about sustaining ourselves as a family financially. And so there were lots of different solutions that we came up with to do that. And one of them is not to put rice in your door sink if you have rats or mice around. Doesn't turn out so well. Sand's the go, something not edible. But so after living in that house for 13 years, we'd done a large number of things. We hadn't quite got that house fully off gas, but we had done a lot of appliances and everything within the limited budget that we did raising small children. We then moved into what I like to see as our forever home. We found a home with a beautiful north aspect, but that was really run down. And this has been the home where I have explored every single thing that I could possibly do, from the very cheap right through to the, you know, timber double glazed windows. And it's a really interesting thing for me to reflect on, because I know that there is a lot of emissions in your household don't really come down to just getting off certain appliances. They come down to really cheap things that you can do with different products to help seal your home and to make it more comfortable and more resilient to external temperatures. At the time that I first started on this house, I was also involved with the Education Directorate in the ACT and decarbonising schools. And there are a lot of principles that are very, very similar. So as we go through decarbonising and getting rid of gas and making our homes more climate resilient, we'll take you on the journey that is equally relevant to other buildings like your children's school if you have kids that are at that age. The way that we like to do this is to walk you through the journey so that there are things that all of us can participate in. Initially, there will be a lot of very simple, very low cost ways that we can make a difference to our thermal comfort and our energy bill. And then we'll gradually amp those up to the more expensive and more sort of replacement things, like how do you choose to windows? What's the best window that you can pick? What definitely not to pick? What returns your investment? That sort of thing. But initially we'll start on doors, because at the end of the day, a lot of the gaps that we have in our house come from our doors and our windows without a very big expense at all. We can do that. So my passion in joining 1 Million Women on I'm Ready is that I am really ready to share all the things that I have learned with as many people as I can, so that you guys don't have to make some of the mistakes that I made, like the rice in the door snake, but also so that everyone can come along for the ride, from people who are living in rental accommodation, government housing, right through to people who own their own homes and are really looking to take that next big step on their electrification journey. So I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you in those sessions and hoping that we can have a lot of fun together and a lot of laughs together along the way. So thank you. I'm ready and able to help you on your journey.
Thanks, Beth, and we are excited to have you with us. Because it's really new. Really learning for us. It's new. It's a new narrative. Learning how to get our homes completely off gas, and how we do it, and what are the challenges, and what are the tips, and what are the solutions, and how do we afford it, and so that's what we're going to really explore, everybody, with your homes and in whatever lifestyle scenario you've got. I really hope that being on this journey with us, you'll really learn the potential of where you live. I wonder, is there anybody that would like to just say, I'm just going to throw to you, Susie. Do you want to share why you've joined this? I'm throwing you in, but I just thought, instead of people putting up their hands, do you want to share why you've joined this program?
Yeah, look, I was really inspired by you, Natalie, and by this amazing movement that you've got of bringing us all together, because we all share the same passion. We want a better world for our children, our grandchildren, and we just need the tools to know how to get there. And it was really inspiring to hear Beth talk, because I'm kind of challenged, thinking I live in a really old place, and yes, I've got solar, but there's a lot more that I could be doing. My stove is old. It's gas, I'm ashamed to say. I want to switch over. There's a community called Electrify 2515, and I've signed up for that. But I want to know more, and I want to be able to do this quite quickly, because I realize however long I wait, I'm contributing to the problem. So that's why I'm so keen to join this group of women, to learn from you all. And, by sharing knowledge, we'll make a difference. So that's it from me.
That was perfect. I didn't put her up to that. So that was really beautiful. Thanks, Susie. Is there anybody else that would like to just share why you've joined this particular piece of 1 Million Women to go on and to transform your home? Anyone else want to jump in? Okay. Yes, Suzanne. Just unmute, Suzanne. Yes.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I haven't been involved with this group before, but I'm in the process of getting solar at the moment. I mean, I had solar, and now they're literally halfway through installing a second solar system, another inverter, battery storage. And I'm doing this because I decided not to wait for my husband to get around to it. And I had I see some people laughing. So when my stepfather passed away 11 years ago, I came into some inheritance, and I was keeping that money for my mother in case she had to go into a nursing home. But instead, I've moved my mum into my house, and I'm now looking after her. So I thought, well, why not use that money that I invested to improve this home? And so, basically, I'm just getting on with it. I'm on a very steep learning curve, learning all about it. So.
Well, welcome to 1 Million Women, and what a beautiful place for you to join us on. It's really lovely. Thank you. And I'm just going to read Liz. Liz says, we are ready to buy a built-in induction cooktop, but we have a granite bench top, and all the induction cooktops are one. Yes, I know this issue, because one of our teammates also had this issue. Sorry, I should finish the story. 1 to 2 centimeters bigger than the hole in the granite, and trying to make it bigger will crack the granite. Yes, so that is an issue. So we need to explore that issue. And I've the house that I've just moved into or bought, it has an induction cooktop, and I thought, yes, yay. But right next to it, it has a really big wok burner, and it's gas. And so, I've got the gas sitting right there with my induction cooktop. And the interesting it's how your brain works, because for years, and I know I'm the founder of 1 Million Women, but for years you would think, I used to think, okay, well, gas is a transition fuel. Okay, so that's better to have gas than to have electricity. And that's how I used to think. And are you putting your hand up to say that's how you used to think too, Beth? Yeah. Or are you putting your hand up to make a comment?
I'm putting my hand up to say gas is a fossil fuel.
Yes.
It's not necessarily a transition fuel. I think we need to move away from transition to it's a fossil fuel.
Oh, absolutely. That is exactly what I'm saying. It is so not it is a fossil fuel. It is not a transition fuel. It is like that language cannot exist anymore. But way back 10 years ago, that's how my brain thought. And when you would go in to see, if there was a really great cooktop that was gas cooking, you would think, yes, cooking with gas. And so all of that is so 10 years ago. And that's the story we need to be changing. And I have to tell you, my induction cooktop is bloody wonderful. It is such a dream to cook on. So I'm on this journey with you all, because I have to get rid of that gas wok. But is there any questions at this point? Brie, are there any questions?
Yeah, so we had one from Grace who said, would love to know the top 3 things to change in the home that have the biggest impact. So they have solar, but what's the next thing? Windows, cooktop, replace the gas. Would love to know what's the best next step from Grace.
Yeah, good question. We're going to explore that. But Beth, you could say something right now for that.
Yeah, I think the first question I would ask is, how well draft proofed is your home? Because the cheapest energy we have at our disposal is the energy we don't use.
Yes, that's so good.
So the draft proofing is something I have walked into, managing the sustainability projects in 100 schools. I think over 80 of them they all had solar in the ACT, but over 80 of those 100 had gaps beneath their doors and around windows and architraves, etc., that when you add all those gaps up, they equate to a 30 centimetre or so square hole in your house, like an open window, when you add them all up. And so draft proofing is always the first step, in my opinion, because it's very low cost, and if done well, you can actually make your home more resilient to needing energy from artificial heating or cooling.
Yep, great. And you've got Nikki saying insulation. I like yours, Danielle. I never wanted to get rid of gas cooking, but now love my induction hob. It's so easy and clean. Zoe, what is the most powerful response when an off-grid specialist recommends gas-boosted hot water and a gas stove cooktop?
An off-grid one.
Wow.
So I would ask where their interests lie. So one of the key things is that, I notice Erica has a question here as well. What do you say to people that are hesitant to get off gas because they see it as the cheaper alternative? It is currently a cheaper alternative, but as more houses move away from electricity to gas, the cost of distributing gas will become higher and gas prices will increase. They're also highly exposed to international events, as we've seen in the last 12 months. But think of it as a longer term journey, because there will be no future where you get to 100% control the energy in your house and produce the energy in your house. So you will always be subject to the price fluctuations for gas. But as we move on this electrification journey, it starts to give people not first up in that journey, because I think there are lots of things you can do before you get solar and before you get a battery. And a battery is not in my near-term future right now, because I don't think they're quite economical. But in the long term, going to electric provides houses with a very unique ability to control and have sovereignty over their own energy consumption and generation. And I think that's a really fundamental shift for all of us in society, because it actually starts to put the power back in our hands as to what we pay for what we use. And we've never really had that, and we won't get that with gas, because you can't produce gas on site at your house. And if you are, we don't want to know about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Therese also said, I have an old house, 100 years, with 3 fireplaces. How do I prevent drafts coming down the chimney?
Yep. There are actually draft-proof devices that you actually put. Are the fires in use? That's probably the key. If the fires are not in use, then you gap them. If they're open fires and you are using them, and obviously while you're using them, there's not a lot you can actually do while in use, because that flue serves a very important function. But in summer, it's a very good idea to draft-proof those by putting there's a few different things on the market that you can do that literally close that gap off, because you will lose a lot of your air conditioning out of those in summer. Anytime the fire's off, that should be draft-proofed. Just remember you've draft-proofed it before you light the fire, obviously.
Catherine, did you want to continue on?
One more? Oh, one more, hey? Sorry,
Yeah.
Bree.
Catherine had a little hand up.
Yes.
Yeah, hi. Maybe it's a question of terminology, but I'm a bit confused. So there's a big focus on electrification of our houses. Maybe it's because I'm from Victoria, where our grid electricity is primarily very dirty. Like it's not a good source. So is the inference, when you're talking about electrification, are you actually meaning solar? Or are you using a more generic term to encompass other forms other than solar, like wind generated or something? Because I'm a bit confused. I don't think electrification is that great, but maybe that's more a Victorian problem, where we're using a lot of dirty coal to make our electricity. I mean, I've got solar, but
yeah,
I'm just wondering about the terminology that we're using.
Yeah. Did you want to take that, Natalie, or would you like me to?
No, you take it, but because you take it. The one here you answer, but then I'll just say something. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we're on a journey, and what we need for people to build renewable energy and invest in them is demand. And we create that demand by electrifying our own homes. It can include, for some communities it will include, and for some houses it will include solar. For some of us it won't be possible to have solar. But ultimately, we are shooting for a vision that the ACT achieved 2 years ago, which was, the ACT purchased 100% renewable energy for the ACT's consumption. And that's where we all need to get it in states and territories. And that's where the government's plans within the states for renewable energy zones are. Those renewable energy zones are designed to come into circulation and into operation as coal fire retires. I think what's really important to remember here is that the vast majority of the coal-fired power stations in our country are at end of life. They're not something that the coal companies are seeing as viable assets to continue to invest in, because it requires a huge amount of money to maintain a very old asset. In the case of gas, that's really about our emission reductions and ensuring that we can move forward. From industry's perspective, they need it. They need renewable energy, because global markets are starting to demand that we have green commodities, and they are commodities produced with green electricity. Yeah, so as those come into play, and the EU, their first one comes into play in October this year, our exports will attract tariffs, And so that large build out for industry to maintain our Australian economy will also drive electrification. It's the world is moving in a certain way, and I think, you know, a lot of people would like to see gas as a transition fuel. I think it's important to remember that it is a fossil fuel, and that we have the means, we have the technology that we need right now to decarbonise our economy. There are going to be challenges, and there'll be very significant ones, but each and every one of us in the role that we're looking to play in our household along the way can make our houses more climate resilient, more comfortable, cheaper to run. It's really a win-win in the long term if we do this correctly.
And I think that, I will thank you, Beth. And I think we should just leave it there, because we've got lots of questions, and I promise you we are going to get to those questions. I'm going to bundle up all those questions, and we'll get to them over the coming weeks. And I think that one of the things, you know, for all of us over the next few years, we're going to make a big decision on something. You know, what car to buy? Is it electric? What about when my gas hot water breaks, or I have to, you know, get a new cooktop, or we're going to have to make a big decision at some point over the next few years. And it's about, how do we make the right next big decision? How do we really make that decision using that dollar, and that we're investing not just in the good of the planet, but in also, financially for us, because sometimes every bit of CO2 that we can prevent from entering the atmosphere when it's to do with our house usually means, pretty much most of the time, we're also putting money back in our pockets, either immediately through energy efficiency measures or in the long run with the big decisions that we make. And I think they're all the things, and the questions tonight and the questions that are still in the chat, they are all the things that we are going to explore with you and your home over this next year. So I know we only had 50 minutes. So before we finish off, I would really like to just share what we're doing at the end of this month. Those of you that are already in 1 Million Women, I mean, all of you will have seen probably our big weekend. But Jemima, could you share our big weekend now? So I would love you all to be part of our big weekend if you haven't already registered. So on the weekend of the 28th to the next slide. I'm Talking Climate is our big weekend, and it is a weekend to turn conversation into climate action. And any time from the 28th to the night of the 28th to the night of the 30th, we are wanting women to get together with some women in their lives. We are wanting you to get together with one or two or three other women in your life. And it can be any time, anywhere over this weekend. It could be under a tree, it could be at home, it could be in the park, wherever you think it is a lovely place conducive to conversation. And we want you to have this conversation. It'll take about an hour. You can be together for as long as you want, but the conversation will take about an hour. We've got a starter, this glorious starter pack that has everything you need. It has the conversation starters. It's talking about our 3 things. You can even just talk about transforming your home. You don't need to be an expert or know anything, because our starter pack has everything in it to make your get together really special, and the conversation starters and the content. So we would love you all to register that you'll host a get together, and you only need to do it with 1 or 2 other people. But this is what we're talking about over this weekend. Please be part of it. The next slide has a QR code. So if you're not on your phone, and you can, or even if you are on your phone, wait, can you? I don't know. But there's the QR code. to go to the page to register. Jemima's going to put the link in the chat if you want to grab the link, or if you've been getting our emails already to register, please register. There's 45 of you on here tonight. That would be another 45 get-togethers that we would have over the weekend of the 28th to the 30th. It would really mean the world to me if you did that. So I'm talking climate. It's that weekend, and you scanned it on your phone. It says it can't find the page. Oh, okay. Okay, don't scan it then. I'm going to try it too. Oh, yeah. No, don't scan it. Jem, can you move that across? But go to the link. Go to the link, which is, thank you, Susie, for saying that. Go to the link in the chat, and that would be wonderful. So we'd like to thank all our partners, and, they are, without them, they are such a wealth of knowledge. Polestar, our major partner, Bank Australia and Verve, Reclaim, which is all about heat pumps, Jet Charge, which is about EV charging, Bright, which helps us with financial support for the things that we need, Goodbye Gas, Solar Analytics, and Evitat. They're all going to help us on this journey over the coming year with the things that help us electrify our homes. So thank you so much to our partners. And I think that's it. So yeah, if there's no other questions, the chat link works. Thank you, Liz. The chat link works. Register to host a get together. That would be wonderful. We are going to stay in touch. We will send you, one last thing. Just before we go, could you all come off, just put your videos back on. It would be wonderful for us to grab a picture of everybody on here tonight, that we can turn it into a collage and to say, this was our first Zoom call for I'm transforming my home. Sorry, it's been a big day. So yes, that would be beautiful. Let's see everybody's wonderful faces and wave, and we can take some lovely photos of everybody. Beautiful. Thank you all so much. We will be emailing you with the next steps, the next Zoom meeting, and hopefully I'll see you all at the get-togethers at the end of this month. And we'd like to finish off, normally we finish off with our anthem, and it's always a beautiful way for us to kind of leave the Zoom where we're thinking about and singing our beautiful anthem. But tonight we're going to do something different. We're going to finish off with the New Joneses, who are doing an electrification program themselves. And they're doing these little videos of people going on an electrification journey. And they did me and my new house. And it goes for 7 minutes. Stay on for as long as you want. And but this just is a taste of the journey that I'll be going on, and it's from the New Joneses, and it's my story. Thank you all so much. You all mean the world to me, and I'll see you at the next Zoom event. And here's the video, and lots of love. That's it.
And welcome to wonderful Wollongong.
Good morning, Wollongong. Good morning, Tamara. What are we doing?
Swatsy, we are here to meet the wonderful Nat Isaacs. She's the founder of 1 Million Women.
1 million women. Okay, what's that all about?
So Nat has amassed a following of 1 million women who have pledged to take action in their lives on climate.
That's huge.
Super positive action, and what they're focusing on, much as ourselves, is the electrify everything. So can you imagine the impact when Nat gets 1 million women to get off the gas in their homes, make their homes all energy efficient, so they need less energy to heat and cool and cook.
Yep.
And then make sure all of that energy is coming from renewable sources.
Okay, let me see if I've clocked it. They're getting off their gas,
1 million of them.
1 million off gas. They're making their homes more energy efficient, which therefore reduces the need for energy, full stop.
Yep.
And the energy that they are using is not coming from fossils, it's coming from up there and out there and renewable.
Correct.
All right,
Nailed
let's
it.
step on the gas and get there.
Except, Slatsy, this is, as I keep telling you, an electric car.
You must not know about me. Slats has tats.
How would you like me to?
Nat Isaacs, take one.
Better than primary school when I was fat, Slats. Who are you and why am I interviewing you?
I am Natalie Isaacs. I am the founder of 1 Million Women. And we are in my new home. And my husband and I bought this only a few weeks ago. And we're in the beautiful Illawarra.
So Nat, why are 1 million women electrifying everything?
Because our households are really powerful in the solution to climate change, and electrifying our homes really is one of the most powerful things we can do.
How do 1 million women electrify everything?
I think we just need to be on the journey. We need to look at our homes. Really, one of the big things is we need to take ourselves off gas. Gas is a fossil fuel, and if we are all aiming for a renewable future, we need our homes to be ready for that.
So you managed to reduce your energy bill by 20%. Tell me about that.
I did. In fact, that was how I actually got engaged on climate change, because before then I was a cosmetics manufacturer and I wasn't engaged, was quite detached from the whole issue of climate change. And then I did something really ridiculously simple, which was I was a bit more vigilant around our house, and I got our household electricity consumption down by 20%. And when I saw the bill and saw I'd saved all this money and all this pollution, it was at that point that I took ownership of the issue and realised that I was actually powerful.
And did you then help 1 million women do the same thing?
Absolutely. And everybody listening can do this. Just by looking at the rhythm of your household and seeing where there is wasted energy. You know, do you turn lights on when you go into the bathroom, even if it's the middle of the day, because it's habit? Draft-proof your house. Make sure your insulation is really good. Under the floor insulation, in the walls, in the ceilings. There's lots of little things that you can do. And for me, it was just looking at all those little things, and just by addressing those, 20% was quite easy.
What are the easiest and cheapest wins to bring down the cost of our energy bills and also keep our houses cool in the summer and warm in the winter?
Energy efficiency is the number one. And when we're energy efficient, we put more money back in our pockets. And when we have money in our pockets, I can promise you that we are preventing CO2 from entering in the atmosphere. So get to know your house. Turn your lights off, the easy things. Don't leave things on standby power. Look at how many appliances that you have plugged into the wall. All these things, being more vigilant around the house, helps us be energy efficient.
So Nat, you're on the Electrify Everything Jam. What's on your to-do list?
It is a process, so it will take a little bit of time, and we can't do everything at once. And I think that is the message for everybody, is that we can't all be perfect all in one go, but we need to be able to map out the things that we can do. It is about looking at your whole house and saying to yourself, number one, if I can't do anything big, at least be energy efficient, because that is something that we can all do. Each one of us can reduce our energy consumption, which puts money back in our pockets.
On the subject of gas, do you have gas, Nat?
Yes, we have gas, and we are getting off gas, and we have an induction cooktop and a gas burner, but an induction stove is the way of the future, and gas is something of the past. In fact, gas is more expensive, it's bad for your health, and it's a fossil fuel.
Nat, how are 1 million women going energy efficient, all electric?
Our campaign is called I'm Ready, and it is about how do we, as women across this country and the world, electrify our lives. Just imagine if 1 million women
said no to gas cooking and we had induction cooktop stoves. Imagine if our homes were absolutely energy efficient. We had the right insulation, underfloor insulation, in the walls, in the ceilings. We draft proofed our houses. Imagine 1 million women driving around in electric vehicles instead of petrol guzzling cars. Imagine the impact 1 million women can have if we are electrifying our lives.
Tell me, where do I start?
Go to 1 Million Women, go to the New Joneses. We are working on all the tools and resources to help you be on your journey for electrification. Go now. What are you waiting for? Now, now.
Hey Nat, day for it in the EV. Lovely. All right, Nat, that is you good to go.
And how much is that?
That's on the house. Have a good one. Next, please.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Stay well and lots of love. See you soon. Bye. Bye, everyone.